Hey creative friends, welcome to my channel and welcome to another Mix It Up Monday. And this Mix It Up Monday is a little bit different than the ones you've seen so far because it's not technically like a mix, but it is prepping food ahead. And I know there's been freezer meals, like everybody does freezer meals, but I saw in the publication that will be down in the description for all the mixes, there's a section in there for dump chicken and it has all these different recipes. And basically you put these in a bag, put them in the freezer, take them out, thaw them overnight, pop them in a pan, 350 for like 25 to 35 minutes, and you've got a main dish ready. So what I did was these chicken breasts were on special at my store, so I went ahead and got them. Now each of these recipes will do 4 to 6, but because it's just the two of us, I have cut the recipes in half to make them basically pantry cooking for 2, and so I'm going to do one of these tomorrow for you. But the way I do it is I'm going to have 3 chicken breasts in each one of these recipes. That's kind of a small one there, which is fine. But I also will take my little tenderizer and I will see if I can find this one for you and put a link because it's a good tenderizer. Look at those little sharp pokies that come out. So what I do is I tenderize the thickest part so that we'll all cook pretty evenly. And then these are really big chicken breasts, so I'm going to cut them in half. That way there will be like 6, and so there's plenty to serve 2 people with some leftovers. So I'm going to cut these up. So what I'm going to do, the only one that I did change is the one for sticky chicken because it's like, reminds me kind of a Thai chicken. It's got peanut sauce on it. So I cut those in chunks because I want to just serve that with some of the white rice or the chicken flavored rice mix that I made. So these will be great with those types of things. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare all the chicken and put them in the bags. Another thing I'm going to put a link to because I think if you're going to do this kind of a meal, these are super handy, are these bag holders. I love these because you can go all the way up to the gallon size or you can shrink them all the way down to the small sandwich size. So if you're doing that kind of thing, and they come in a set of 4. And I love them. So I love them for this kind of thing. So I will put a link for that in there as well. And the other thing is when I'm cutting stuff like this chicken, I will put it in a little baking dish right there. And I'll put my little cutting board on top of it so that I can keep all the juices and stuff from getting on the counter. It's just a cleaner process. So I'm going to go ahead and fill all my bags with chicken and then I'll be right back when that's done. Okay, this looks busy, but what I did was I went ahead and set out all the ingredients for each meal. That way I wouldn't have to do it individually for you. But this way, I know exactly what's going to go into each one. Now, this probably wouldn't take as much time if I hadn't done that, but so simple. Okay, so I'm going to do the lemon garlic chicken right here. Hold on a second. Hold on, I spilt something. Okay, I'm not going to edit that out because I'm sure that I'm not the first person who's done that. But when I lifted this bag up, the corner caught the little container I had of the olive oil and it spilled. So here's what's going to go in here. I've got the chicken all in there. I've got the equivalent of 1 garlic clove right there. And 2 tablespoons of olive oil, which I had to replace because I spilled it. And then 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley. I like it, so I made sure that a little bit more olive oil, that I had it all in there. And a tablespoon of lemon juice, and then I have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. So that's that for that little meal. And now what I'm going to do is just close it up, squeeze the air out, and then it kind of just marinates in there. I'm just going to work this around. And then another thing I've done, I'll show you when I'm all done, is I've got one of those big 2-gallon zip top freezer bags. And I wrote dump chicken for 2, and I put on there how to thaw it overnight and then put it in the oven at 350 until it's done. It'll take 25 to 35 minutes, and I'm going to put all of these in there when I'm done. So before I finish that, I'll just go ahead and put all the ingredients, but you can see how this is mixing up nice. It's going to be all super flavored, kind of marinated, so good. Okay, so there's the first one. I am going to mix those up a little bit better. The next one is the garlic Dijon chicken, and I have 3 chicken breasts. I've got them tenderized and I've got them put in the bag here. Now I'm going to put a clove of garlic And this is garlic, so I put the equivalent of 1 clove. And then 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. That's what's going to go in there. And then I have 2 tablespoons of the Dijon mustard, which I'm just going to take my bag and wipe it out of there. There we go. Because that'll get worked in. And then a teaspoon of fresh lemon juice, or lime juice. I had some limes there, so I went ahead and squeezed some juice. So there's a second meal ready to go. And I will squish this around before I put them all in the bag. Next one, this one I'm super excited about. It's the spicy sweet chicken, and it has a tablespoon of the minced garlic in there. Garlic is in everything. A 1/2 cup of apricot preserves. So yummy. This is going to be super yummy. I'm just going to reach in the side of this bag and scoop that out. Saves me a little spatula or something. There we go. And then it's basically a 1/2 of a cup of ketchup. And of course I'm using my home canned ketchup because that's going to make it even better. And then the same amount of soy sauce, and I'm using low sodium. So it calls for 1/3, but I halved it. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of Tabasco sauce. That's going to give it a little kick. Okay. And there's another meal. And I'm going to mix that up too. I'm going to work that all together before I pop this in the freezer and freeze it. It's going to be delicious. And now I've got teriyaki chicken, which we have, again, a clove of garlic in there. And then it was basically called for 1/3, but it's about 1/2 a cup of I use low sodium soy sauce. And then I did not have any rice wine, so I'm just leaving it out. It's not going to be the end of the world, I'm sure. I thought I had some, but I have rice wine vinegar, and I didn't want to put that in there. Although I probably could have put that in there and left out the 3/4 tablespoon of cider vinegar, but I like the flavor of cider vinegar and things. And then 3/4 tablespoon of brown sugar and 3/4 tablespoon of ground ginger. Now I could have used minced ginger or fresh grated ginger, but I would not have to use as much if I did that. But, I mean, I'd have to use more if I did that. So I've got my ground ginger. I want to smell this because I think it's going to smell great. Oh, it really does. Ooh, that's going to be good. And I'm going to serve these with some of my Make-A-Mix rice mixes that I made. Okay, this is the one I think I'm going to leave out for tonight. It's the honey sesame chicken, and it sounds so good. So I think I'm going to make this for my pantry cooking for Tuesday for you guys for tomorrow. This is honey sesame chicken, and it's got 1/4 cup of chicken broth. I'm going to mix that in. Perfect. And then 1.5 tablespoons of sesame seeds. There's those. And 1/2 tablespoon of honey. Now remember, these are cut in half. If you're getting this recipe out of the little publication, the little PDF that's in the description, these measurements will be different. I have altered them so that I'm not cooking as much. And then a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Let me see if I can scrape that out. Yeah, perfect. Let me get this little thing in here. There we go. I want to get all of that goodness in there. And then 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And then a clove of garlic. So that's there. This one I'm gonna cook for tomorrow. So I'm gonna leave this one out. Otherwise they'd go in the freezer and I'd grab them at a future date. Actually, no, I don't want to do this one tomorrow. I'm gonna do the other one because it sounds super interesting. It almost reminds me of like a Thai meal. So this one is called the sticky chicken. And what I did with this, because of the way I want to use it, I cut the chicken breasts into chunks because this has like a peanut sauce on it. It reminds me kind of a Thai thing. All right, so a tablespoon of oil. Got that right there. And then 1.5 tablespoons of my amazing home canned ketchup. Put that in there. There we go. And then 1.5 tablespoons of peanut butter. So that's where I think it's going to be like a Thai dish. And then the soy sauce, which is 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce. Now this is the one I'm going to make for tomorrow, and I think I'm going to serve it with the chicken make a mix rice. So I'm just going to put this in the fridge and save it for you for tomorrow. Okay, so now let me, ooh, that smells really good. Let me get all this cleaned up and I'll show you how I bag it up. Okay, I've got these all done, but I'm going to show you. So I take the bag and just kind of make sure that it's all really incorporated around the chicken. Just kind of massage it all into those chicken pieces. And that way, it'll be phenomenal. And then, what I do is kind of let the little bit of air out there. And then I'm going to just kind of roll this up and then seal it. And then I roll it so that you can see the name of the chicken, which, this is the one. This is the honey sesame chicken. So, and then I got this big 2-gallon zip top bag. We get those at our restaurant supply store. Actually, my son used to get these when he caught salmon. And he would fillet it up and put them in here. And so I started getting these because I love them. So then I'm going to put all those in there. And the reason I'm going to put them in this bag is so they don't get lost in the freezer. And I put them so that the names are forward. So now I can just set that down in my freezer and I can pull it up and I can know. And then on the other side of the bag, it actually says dump chicken and it has the instructions. So right there, there's 5 in here. And then I'm saving this one, the sticky chicken that I'm going to make for pantry cooking for Tuesday, tomorrow. So there you have it. I hope you guys give these things a try. And don't be afraid when you want to prep ahead a meal. Make it for 2 people. It's not that big a deal. Just cut the recipe down so it's a better, it's a better amount. And these are going to be so great in the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it gives you some ideas. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.